2 different times we've killed coral snakes right across the front there. You know what a coral snake is?
No, not really.
Okay. They're very pretty.
Look out for dangerous coral snakes. If they bite you, they can kill you.
Dangerous? They're about this long. They're very, very poisonous.
And I've only just arrived to the place far out in the middle of nowhere in Texas where I'm going to be staying alone for the next 10 days, with neighbors not being able to hear a cry for help if I'm bitten. Quite a welcome, right? My name is Palabo. This is the Radio Vagabond episode 198. Welcome to Lockhart, Texas.
Meet Palabo on an epic journey around the world. This is the Radio Vagabond.
This episode is brought to you in part by Hotels25.com. Whenever you need a hotel anywhere in the world, go to Hotels25.com. That would get you the best price. Hotels25.com searches a bunch of the biggest hotel sites in one simple search. Hotels25.com.
So, I'm getting shown around in a country house outside of a smaller city south of Austin called Lockhart by the owners, Mary and Charley.
When you walk out the door here, I always look because 2 different times we've killed coral snakes right across the front there. You know what a coral snake is?
No, not really. Dangerous?
They're about this long. They're very, very poisonous.
Oh, okay.
But they have to get you. They have to get you in the little tiny mouths. They have to get you in the soft skins.
This wonderful couple are going away for a bit and needed someone to take care of their cats, house, and plants. So they've asked me to come and be their trusted house sitter. And as they're showing me what to do and where everything is, they also tell me a bit about the dangers out here in the countryside of Texas. They have some animals that I'm not so used to from when I lived in the countryside of Denmark. Like, I should look out for coral snakes whenever I step out the front door.
They're very pretty. They're black and red and yellow.
Mary tells me that they are very pretty. Black, red, and yellow. But what's most interesting to know, they are extremely dangerous. And yeah, very poisonous. This is what I heard a guy say on YouTube about the Texas coral snakes.
This right here is the Texas coral snake, one of my favorite snakes in the world. This is the most venomous snake in the United States and have a very potent neurotoxin, extremely way more potent than any of the rattlesnakes that we have around here. And a neurotoxin typically attacks your nervous system. And people who are bitten by these snakes, if you are going to die, you generally die from paralysis of the diaphragm. Pretty much you just can't breathe. And so that's a horrible way to go.
Well, no big deal. We just killed them, sweet Mary says casually.
We kill them because...
And Charlie asks that I can just leave them alone if I see any, or kill them if I want to. That's what the shovel is for.
What should I do if I see some?
Well, you can just leave them alone, or you can kill them if you want. That's what that little shovel's there for.
Mm-hmm. Did you notice my What's actually going through my mind is I've never killed a coral snake before, and I don't really know if I want to start my coral snake killing spree right now. And also, I wonder how long time I have to live if I'm bitten, being out here all by myself. But they are pretty, very small, and they have to bite me in a soft spot on my hand or on my bare feet. Thank God there aren't any bigger, more dangerous snakes here. Oh, there are?
But they also rattlesnakes.
Oh, great. Rattlesnakes. Even though Mary tries to calm me down by saying that it was a long time ago.
Sometimes. We haven't seen them in a while.
What?
Rattlesnakes?
I killed the one right over there not too long ago.
That's at least a couple months ago.
Yeah.
At least 2 months ago. So don't worry, Pala.
You'll also hear the coyotes at night. Have you heard coyotes before?
No, I don't think so.
You'll hear them. They don't sound real. They don't go woo like a wolf. They like. It will sound like it's right outside your window, but Charlie assures me that they're half a mile away.
Interesting. Yeah.
Interesting. That's one way of putting it. truly an interesting place with some interesting animals around.
Watch out for these. Don't slide your feet on these floors.
Okay, I won't.
Because you will get splinters.
Okay.
Okay?
And so we step inside, and they show me around the house where the only animals are cute cats and a few spiders. I get to meet their cats that I'm going to take care of, and they guide me through what else I need to know about keeping everything going here.
The kitchen, gas stove,
Nice.
an old gas stove. Sometimes this front burner will start making funny noises like, and you think something's wrong, just turn it on.
Charley also takes me for a walk outside and tells me which plants out there I needed to water and how much and how often. I was listening and paying attention, but mostly looking down on the ground to make sure that I wasn't stepping on a coral snake or any other vicious danger.
I've just arrived to Lockhart, and I'm here with Mary and Charley, and I've been told what to do, and I've been shown how to feed the cats and scoop the poop and water the plants, and which plants to water when. And Charley, then you said to me, be aware of the snakes.
Yes, especially the rattlesnakes and the coral snakes.
So please repeat, what are they dangerous?
Coral snakes are extremely dangerous. The venom, but they have very small mouths, so they're hard to bite you. But you just got to be careful to not get them on your fingers or whatever.
So I don't want to walk around barefoot.
No, not barefooted, outside. And the rattlesnakes are pretty poisonous, but they will generally warn you, not always. And they can strike the length of their body. So if you get if one of them is 3 foot long, you can strike out 3 feet.
How would I recognize them?
They'll have little rattles on the end of their tail. Yeah. And they have a triangular shaped head.
And then you said, was it coyotes and raccoons?
Yeah, raccoons are nocturnal animals, but they especially are mean. They can be very mean, especially if you corner them or whatever.
They look cute.
Yeah, they look
on
cute.
photos.
Yeah. But I wouldn't want to corner a mom with her babies or anything like that.
No, you told me that sometimes they
come on the front porch.
The front porch here, and you saw one that had babies.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago or so, I think it was. Yeah. So
and the coyotes, you don't see them, but you can hear them out here.
Yeah, it's very rare to see one. Yes, but you hear them a lot more at night than you do.
Yeah.
They howl and make all kind of noises. And it sounds like there's a dozen of them, and it might be one or two.
Yeah.
Do you remember the unofficial slogan for Austin? Keep Austin weird. Now, we're about 30 miles south of Austin in a small place called Lockhart.
And Lockhart is around 30 miles south of Weird. It's what your T-shirt says.
Yeah, Austin,
No,
South Austin.
Yeah, and that's because Austin has this unofficial slogan saying "Keep Austin Weird." So
correct.
So that's why you have it on the front of your T-shirt. It said Lockhart, Texas. On the back it says 30 miles south of Weird. But
misspelled, by the way.
Yeah, weird is misspelled.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
They gave him that T-shirt for free.
Yeah. Let me just come over to you, Mary, because you.
No politics.
No, we don't go there. Don't go there. So, what do you think of this Trump guy? He's not a politician. No. No.
He's the president.
Yep.
I gotta show him respect.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't always agree with him, but then I didn't agree more with the others. So
no, let's talk barbecue instead.
Barbecue,
That's a more safe topic.
Yeah.
Lockhart, for some reason, when I told people in Houston and in Austin that I was going to Lockhart, they said, "Oh, they have the best barbecue in Texas."
So they say,
Yeah.
but we've had good barbecue in other places too. Yeah.
But
Texas does barbecue well.
But you took me to a place today.
Yes. Smittys,
yeah, that's right. And there are 3 other competing barbecues, and I intend to try them all when I'm here. But we came in, and there was a fireplace. I smell smoke as a campfire as soon as we opened the door. I got in there.
It's a pit. It's called the pit.
It's called a pit. And then we should choose some different meat. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, you can get chicken or pork ribs, or you can even get turkey. You can get brisket. What else?
Yeah.
Sausage. Yeah.
And you buy it
By the pound.
By the pound, yeah.
Yes.
And the plate is a piece of paper.
Yes. That's a traditional barbecue joint plate.
And you get a plastic knife, and you can get a plastic spoon for your sides, like mashed potato or macaroni cheese or coleslaw or whatever. Mm-hmm. You can get a spoon for that, but no fork.
No fork. No.
How come is that? Why?
Because you're supposed to eat it with your bread. You take your bread and you wrap it around the meat and you eat it that way. And I think, in Smitty's case, is just a case of tradition.
Stubbornness.
Stubbornness, yeah. There's a couple of other places around that do that, but
they do know the fork is invented, right?
Yes, they do know. They do know.
But
it's their thing. It's what they're known for.
Yeah.
No fork.
Yeah.
And no sauce.
No sauce.
No barbecue sauce.
Oh no. Because that would be an insult to the chef.
Yeah, Lockhart is known as the BBQ Capital of Texas. And it's official, something the Texas legislature proclaimed them as in 1999. Whenever I told anyone I met here in Texas that I was going to Lockhart, their faces lit up and they started talking about barbecue. Lockhart is home to 4 famous barbecue joints. On the radiovagabond.com, I put a link to an article where they take a close look at all 4 of these necessary stops if you're interested in Lockhart barbecue. Smittys Market, Black's Barbecue, Chisholm Trail Barbecue, and the place we went to, Smittys Market.
You're going to grab a plate there, self-serve, each side is what is it?
$2.19 a serving and the meat's done by the way.
What was that?
It's $2.19 a serving and the meat's done by the weight up front.
Okay. So I get some stuff.
As soon as we walked inside, I felt like I was walking into history.
We got brisket, we got sausage, we have original and jalapeno and cheese, giant beef ribs, we got pork spares and pork babies. Also have chicken and turkey.
So many choices. Let me
Actually, one of the competitors, Smittys Market, was located at this spot before they moved to its current location. And it was the sister of the owner of Smittys that opened Smittys Market after they had a family disagreement. The article, with the title How to Eat Your Way Through Lockhart, the BBQ Capital of Texas, suggests that you arrive armed with your appetite, good friends, and plenty of napkins. But it's quite remarkable that this city has so much good barbecue, because it's not a big city.
It's small. It's 14,000. Yeah. Our biggest industry is cotton. You pass some cotton fields on the way in. I don't know if you recognize them. It's a very Hispanic town. Hispanics that have been here for generations. It's a very old town. It's been around a long time. Mm-hmm. Let's see what else is there. The courthouse is special. I don't know if you know about Texas courthouses, but a lot of them were built during that time, and they're very fancy empire style.
You talked about they did some movies in there.
There's been a lot of movies filmed in Lockhart. I couldn't tell you the name of any of them offhand, but frequently it's closed off downtown. They redo the square and the stores to conform to a particular time. Usually the movies are about the 50s or 60s because it still kind of looks like that.
Oh, yeah.
And there was even what was the name of that TV show that was here? Revolution. It was for 3 or 4 seasons, and it was filmed. Some of its sites were in Lockhart.
Yeah,
but they have the chamber has a whole section dedicated to promoting movie filming here in Lockhart.
I've done a bit of research about Lockhart, so let's get a few more facts about where we are.
And now, facts about where we are.
The city of Lockhart is named after Bert Lockhart, an assistant surveyor, someone who's taking measurements and mapping an area. Reportedly, he was the first Anglo to set foot in Caldwell County in the 1800s. Lockhart was the site of a victory of the Texans over the Comanche at the Battle of Plum Creek in 1840. In fact, Lockhart was originally called Plum Creek, but the name was later changed to Lockhart. The Caldwell County Courthouse is absolutely stunning, and you may recognize it from being featured in various TV shows and films. Some of those include Waiting for Guffman, Eating Gilbert Grape, The Faculty, and The Transformers, and the HBO series The Leftovers. And one final thing, no, it's got nothing to do with Gilderoy Lockhart from Harry Potter.
And that was Facts About Where We Are. The ultimate destination for armchair travelers who are looking for inspiration to get out into the real world and let loose their wanderlust. This is the Radio Vagabond.
And we're around 45 minutes to an hour from Austin, depending on traffic.
Yes.
And a little bit longer to San Antonio, but not that much.
Right.
Yeah, so I can do this. I will hope that I don't lose any plants and, knock on wood, any cats during my watch. I will do my very best and take care of and try not to burn the house down. And yeah, that would be a plus. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Have a good vacation.
I sent Mary and Charley off on their vacation, and I had the house for myself and the cats for the next 10 days. I've done house sitting before, but in case you're a new listener and haven't heard those episodes, by the way you should, and therefore wondering what the heck is house sitting, let me quickly explain. It's where someone like Mary and Charley are leaving their house for a period of time and entrust it to one or more house sitters like me. In this case, we found each other on trustedhousesitters.com, and there's a mutual agreement that I get to stay in their house while they're away in exchange for doing a few things. In this case, I'm taking care of their cats and making sure that their plants are alive when they come back. No money changes hand. They get someone to look after their house, pets and plants, and I get a place to stay. They even gave me the keys to their car and their truck. And a car is handy because, like I mentioned, we're in the countryside, down a dirt road 5 miles southeast of Lockhart. When we come back, I'm alone in their house and get to meet the neighbors, or at least listen to them. We'll be right back.
Hello, Radio Vagabond listeners.
Hey, we are big Polybo fans. Ideally, we're all on our journey, just like Polly, to a life we design. Whether you have kids or an empty nester, we invite you to check out our podcast, The Open Nesters.
Our unique podcast explores personal, intellectual, physical, sexual, and spiritual journeys of life as we reinvent ourselves at this stage of life we call Act 3. Polybo is an inspiring traveling nomad as this open nester, and you can hear him as we interview him on episode 10.
And if you like to hear from others who are writing Act 3 of their lives, please join us every week for a new episode, which is available on every podcast platform and on theopennesters.com. I'm Amir.
And I'm Tessa, and we'd love to have you with us on the journey. We feel certain it will also become yours. Visit theopennesters.com.
If travel is your passion and you want escapism while still upholding your work and family responsibilities, you can travel vicariously from the comfort of your own home. This is the Radio Vagabond Podcast.
This is what it sounds like right here where I live in the outskirts of the small town of Lockhart. I am around 3-4 miles away from Lockhart, down a dirt road, and the neighbor is breeding cocks for cockfighting. Cockfighting is not legal here in Texas, but it is in one of the other states. I don't remember which state it was that Charley told me. But they breed them here, and then they put them on a truck and drive them up to go into an arena where they can pluck another cock to death. And you would think that this is only in the morning, but no. It's all day. It's all day. The neighbor doesn't seem to care. Both of them are deaf.
One of the next mornings, I fed the cats and headed out 2 hours north to visit another good friend.
I am heading towards my good friend Paul Wayland, who lives north of Austin, around an hour and a half. It's by a lake. It looks beautiful here.
His name is Paul Wayland, and like Doug Harris, that I met in Houston, I also know this Texan from the radio industry. In fact, all three of us met in Mumbai a few years earlier, where we were speakers at a conference. And like Doug, Paul is also an amazing public speaker and a very interesting man. So I just had to pay him a visit now that I was here in Texas.
How are you?
I am so good.
You're in the hill country now.
Sure am.
Come on in this house.
I almost ran into a deer.
Yeah, they're everywhere. There are a whole bunch that live in this immediate area, so they're always right here between this house and this house. So
Wouldn't it be popular if I killed Bambi?
That would be terrible, wouldn't it? We wanted to see the lake.
Yeah.
Can I get you a drink? Would you like water?
Water, please, yeah.
Coming up.
After a quick tour of the house on the edge of Lake Lyndon B. Johnson, he takes me for a drive around this beautiful, idyllic area. When I met Paul the last time in Mumbai, he lived in Austin.
I did. I lived, in fact, within walking distance to the big park where Austin City Limits Music Festival is right now.
And Paul McCartney is playing tomorrow?
He is. And then
are you going?
No, I have to leave and go to my conference at work. So we had a house that was maybe 4 minutes by car from downtown, and we got tired of the traffic in the city, and we had this place at the lake, and we thought, no, we'll sell our house in Austin because the real estate there is so expensive now, and we could get a good price for our Austin house, and then maybe move to a smaller community near Austin.
Yeah.
And then our friends said, "What, are you crazy? You know, I mean, look at the lake house where you live. Why wouldn't you live there?" Yeah. We always thought of it as a secondary home.
Yeah.
And then
it used to be your parents?
My grandparents.
Your grandparents, wow.
Yeah, and they built a house, and we were going to remodel that house, but instead we got into the remodeling effort and we realized there were cast iron pipes in the foundation, asbestos we can tell, and so we wound up tearing down the old house completely. Even the foundation was removed. And we built another house with the help of an architect. And what we wanted to do was include elements of the old house that people would recognize in the new house.
But the whole neighborhood seems like it's a lot of new houses.
There are some new houses. It's changing because this is a constant level house, constant level lake, and so it becomes very desirable.
The water
level doesn't go up and down.
Yeah.
And you know, at Lake Travis, when there was a drought, if you can't have a dock like these. Docks right on the water. They have to go up and down, and then there's no water at all, and it's a mess. And so now this area becomes much more valuable because the water level is constant. And so the value now of the property on this lake has gone up. You know, there's an island.
Let me just interrupt you here, because what a view we have from up here.
Yes, we're on top of Sandy Mountain. We call it a mountain, not like Europe.
Yeah. So,
it's
Denmark
it's
is
a
so flat,
great
yeah.
view from here. So I brought you here so you could see. And our house is down here this way. And there's the island near the house, and when we were children, we would swim over to the island. And so this is a big lake. It's 27 miles long.
Yeah, how
it goes this way.
Maybe it would be more easy to say, how long would it take me to drive all around it?
To drive around the perimeter of the lake, it would take a while. You know, you'd be in the car all day trying to visit every place. But to go from one end to the other, it would take probably about maybe 6 hours or something like that.
And it's a man-made lake.
Yes, it's a reservoir with a dam at either end. And the dam generates electricity. So this is it. And you look at these hills and these mesas and these vistas, and in the past, before the lake was here, this was all Indian country. And the Indians who lived here, for the most part, were the Comanches. Oh yeah. And Comanches didn't like to farm, and they didn't like to ranch. What the Comanches enjoyed doing, they were the pirates, and they liked to raid. And all of these European people were coming over here in these big boats.
The immigrants.
And they'd come to Indianola, Texas, which was near Galveston until the hurricane in the early 1900s destroyed Indianola. But they'd come from there, and then they would walk for 3.5 weeks with covered wagons towards the San Antonio area. And for the Comanches, this was fantastic, because look at these nice fat Europeans coming over here, and they have all of these supplies and things that we can use. So they would take what they wanted, including the women and children.
No.
And life could become very different for these Europeans. And, you know, I remember when I lived in Europe, you know, for 3 years, sometimes I'd run into a European who would say, Paul, yes, in Europe now we're starting to experience many American problems. And I said, American problems? Are you kidding? We're you. Because you guys were the ones that came over and founded our country. Now, you sent the most religious ones from Europe to found our country. So thank you for finding the most religiously screwed up people you could find to found our country. But we're you. A twisted mirror image of the European. But we are the Germans, the Dutch, the French. We're all of those things in one big melting pot that we call the United States.
Actually, I've been thinking maybe one of the reasons that Americans are it's in the blood to go-getters, that because the people that went here were not the comfortable people that
they wanted religious freedom, and they wanted to.
You think the religion was
a lot of it? A lot of these people were very religious. Absolutely, yes.
But it was people who took things into their own hands and said, I am getting on a boat and I'm going to this faraway country, and that is not something that everybody would do.
Yeah, it's something that not everyone would do, but I think that they were pressured economically.
Yeah.
They didn't own their own land. There were caste systems in Europe at the time, and I think they were adventuresome. They heard that there's a whole new opportunity, and they could own property here.
Mm-hmm. Are you a mixture of many different?
Sure, we all are. So German, certainly, Scottish, Alsace, Lorraine, between France and Germany. and some other mixes, and now also in my family some American Indian as well, because things got mixed up a little bit. And
well, I can guarantee I'm 100% Viking.
100% Viking, eh? Well, since my drive with Paul, I actually had one of these heritage DNA tests taken and found out that I am only 98% Scandinavian. The remaining 2% is either Greek or Southern Italian. I must say that I was a bit surprised. How did that end up in my bloodline? But then it might just be the Vikings raging and pillaging in the Mediterranean Sea back in the day and brought something back to Denmark from there. And then it just got watered down through history. If only I knew. One thing I do know is that we passed the half-hour mark, so that's all we have time for in this episode. I'll continue my drive and chat with Paul Whelan in the next episode, and in a few seconds you can hear a clip from that one. This episode is supported in part by Hotels25.com. It's a website that helps you find the best deals on hotel rooms, guest houses, and hostels all over the world in one simple search. Hotels25.com. It's best price guaranteed. And then 2 things. If you like what you hear, please give this podcast a 5-star review in your podcast app, just because it makes me feel good. And then tell a friend about the Radio Vagabond. One way you can do that is simply going to facebook.com/The Radio Vagabond and tag a friend in the post for this episode. Hey, with all the work I do to give you these episodes totally free, that's the least thing you can do for me, right?
Next week on the Radio Vagabond.
And we went to see Ernest Tubb, famous Nashville player. And I brought an album with me, my Ernest Tubb album, because I heard that he stuck around afterward and would sign autographs. So I brought my album. We waited in line for 20 minutes. Finally, it's our turn, and we were there, and I said, "Oh, Mr. Tubb, we're such big fans. Could you please sign my record?" And he leaned down and looked at us right in the eye with a smile on his face, and he said, "F*** off, boys." And we were totally disillusioned. This guy was our hero. And we're walking away and we're going, my God, and then suddenly my friend started laughing, and we were, with the long hair, we were like Beavis and Butthead, though, and my friend goes, ha, 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 Ernest Tubb told us to f*** off.
My name's Palabo, and I gotta keep moving. See ya.
Produced by RadioGuru.co.uk.